Aquarius, this is your June forecast for 2017, and you know what? This month, the focus, the main primal focus for you will be on the fun stuff this month. And this is because the sun is moving through your fifth house of joy, creativity, self-expression, taking time off to do hobbies and things that you love to do when you have a little extra time, right? But the fifth house is also romance, and it's also all about our children, spending time with them, interacting with them, so you're going to have more time to do exactly that. We have Venus, which has been cruising through the sign of Aries, okay? So you've been putting all that energy out there, taking initiations and initiatives here in May, but as you come into June, pretty early in the month after that first week, it will move into the sign of Taurus. That means that whatever you were chasing, and I feel you were chasing in May in that first week here of June, you will now want to grab and secure. That's what Taurus does. It wants to secure, hold the values of this and really lock it down. And that will be in your fourth house for home and family for the last 3 weeks of June, where you will be able to spend more time, interact with, and we were just talking about the sun in the fifth house for children, right? But here also parents come into play too, where love will go around to all your family members. If, for example, you're also thinking about buying or selling, this could be a good time, Aquarius, as Venus will secure that the money that you're asking can be met if you're selling. And if you're buying, well, then it could secure that you will find a house that is spacious, beautiful, and for a good price. Okay, so great time in June to make any changes as far as real estate, but it could also be just putting more love into your home. Venus is all about decor, design, colors, so maybe you're just changing things up or doing a little upgrade. You'll love that too. Then we have Mars. Mars will be changing signs this month. That will be on the 4th, moving into the sign of Cancer. So it has been very busy here over these latest weeks when it was touring Gemini. Gemini, which is so good about communication, right? Or anything that is verbally expressed. It could also be the written word if you're a writer, or if you've had any kind of written tasks to do. Well, now that is going to take a little bit of a break, and now you'll see how that is going to more so want to nurture you, nurture yourself, and especially in the foods that you eat, you might find yourself wanting to cook more or carve out a path for a new type diet that really sits with you. The Cancerian sign is all about the substances we take into our body, especially because it's ruled, the house that is ruled by Virgo. So the two of them together, it's all about digestion, it's about your stomach, the way you absorb and so forth. And whatever doesn't really sit well with you, say you are sensitive, hypersensitive, that could come out this month while Mars is there. It will bring to the surface whatever feels a little weak, say like pollens, allergies, that kind of thing. So you could be up against that, but that might also very well be the reason why you might be carving out a new path for yourself, health-wise, right? So we have the greatest news, and that is Venus going direct now here on the 10th. It has been sleeping for several months, so many of you might have felt how things have been moving a little slowly. And for you, your Jupiter is in the 9th house, which has to do with education, higher education, travel, visas, green cards, passports, any kind of lawsuits, that kind of thing, maybe even producers, it could be publishers, anybody who can get you up and out to the world at large is what has been challenged and moving slowly. So now you can come to see that these very areas just mentioned will start working for you. I see expansion, I see not just moving forward, but actually great news coming in here on a couple of events throughout this month too that you really want to circle on your calendar and pay attention to. So yes, let's start top of the month with a decision that I see that you're standing to face. And that has to do whether to be on this end or that end of the stick. I feel it's kind of a serious type decision because Saturn is involved, and Saturn's always looking out for our higher good. Even though he can feel a little heavy while he's there, we might feel that we might be limited. The sun wants something. The sun is you, so you're wanting this, and then comes Saturn saying, nope, can't do that right now. So I see you balancing it, but it is something for your higher good, like mentioned. But then again, here on the 3rd, we have the unexpected news I spoke about, how Jupiter now awakening, and the good news he will carry. Well, you will get that on the 3rd. The Sun and Jupiter both. This is between the 5th house for creativity and joy and romance and children. Now coming together with great news having to do with studies or long distance travel and journeys. So if you're going to be traveling, that's great. If you have children or even grandchildren, say wanting to come into college, there could be good news of acceptance here on this day, since we have to do with that educational space of your chart. But it's coming as a surprise, so it could be something totally different. Maybe somebody will pop up that you haven't seen for a long time from out of either town, state, or even out of country. This is because Venus and Uranus, they're conjunct. And we never know what it's going to bring because it is that wild factor, the wow factor, which I like to call it. So we got that going. That's the 3rd. On the 4th, though, we just need to be a little careful with communication. And this is because Mercury, the way how we think and communicate, is a little bit up against Neptune. And when Neptune is challenged, as much as he is very, very visionary, right? And very inspired, open channels up above. But when he's challenged, then it's like those waters upon which he rules become a little muddled, meaning our communication might not be as up to par as it should be. On the 4th, Mars moves into Cancer, as I mentioned, and that would be into your 6th house for health. We got Venus moving into Taurus, wanting to secure everything emotional, everything romantic, and also our finances too, taking place on the 6th. On the 9th, though, circle this in on your calendar because this is the romantic day evening of the month. Venus and Mars doing the dance, so I can see how you're radiant, you're open, you're charming, and so is the partner that you're with. So this is a great time to go out and celebrate yourselves, each other, and if you're single, this could be the time that you might just come to meet somebody. On the 13th, more good news from Jupiter. So this could be a text, a phone call, it could be a message, whatever the deal is, it is good. See a big smile on your face there, Aquarius. So if you've been waiting for something special, then this could be the day that it could land. Then we have the 18th. This is, remember I mentioned a decision you had on top of the month on the 1st. You're kind of needing to readdress it, or it's coming back around. Maybe it's taking it that one step further. This time it is Mercury and Saturn that are in opposite ends of the stick, and so when we have such an opposition, we feel a little limited when Saturn comes in. But you know what? When we feel we can't communicate, Mercury's communication, we can't communicate freely because Saturn's holding those rings, maybe it's for a reason. Sometimes we communicate fully, sometimes we feel we got that choke band on, having to hold back a little bit, maybe for a reason. But it is a very quick passing type aspect, so not really a biggie, but you could come to feel it. I do want to mention more romance though, and that is Venus and Neptune this time. So this is more like the soulmate twin flame type energy. Now, if Venus and Mars are really happy when they're together, which we all know, well, think about Neptune being the higher octave of Venus. Venus, which is love, but it's creativity. For those of you who are artists, beautiful time to just feel that you are a channel for creating music, lyrics, or if you're a painter, sculptor, it will just simply come through you I always like to say that's when you're channeling the masters, right? Because the flow is so beautiful. And if you're writing, well, those words will just come out of you. So yes, in the sense of creativity, beautiful time. As far as love and romance goes, the hearts, your spirits are extremely refined and very, very sensitive. If you're meeting anybody new and you're single, well, you could just come to meet a soulmate here on this day. Give and take a day on each side though, so you have like a 2 to 3 day window where things are just absolutely beautiful. On the 21st, the Sun and Mercury are moving into the sign of Cancer, where it is will be joining Mars. Mars is already there in that health sector. Sixth house also has to do with your day-to-day routine and how you work. We're not talking career, that's the 10th house. Sixth house is how you work, right? So now we have the Sun, we've got Mercury, we've got Mars all in here, so that's giving more oomph and power to how you are thinking about laying down your life, strategizing it, organizing it, so that you can become that much more efficient. It's cutting back those things that are just taking up time so that you can find more of a flow, but not just for now, this month, whatever you're preparing. While these planets are here, you're laying the foundation for the full year. So it's kind of like hitting the reset button and getting all your ducks in a row now. And since Mars is involved, well, you're not going to get this opportunity again before 2 years from now when Mars comes back. So Mars is really going to help you cut back to the core. You know, so if you're like, say, restructuring or reorganizing your garage, you may organize it so well that you don't really need to do it for another 2 years, right? But then things start piling up and here we go again, time to reorganize. That's the kind of thing that I see that you will be doing and feeling from the 21st onwards, but you will have it also with you there in July. 24th though, this is a very intense, passionate day, but in a good sense, because Venus and Pluto, they're trine. So on an emotional, spiritual level, well, we got romance and we got passion. Now, just like Neptune was the higher octave of Venus, well, Pluto is the higher octave of Mars. So this is Venus interacting with a supercharged Mars, which is Pluto. So this date too, you can expect major things to take place. It's talk about cutting to the core of any relationship, but in such an open and energizing way. But then the two of them also rule money. Venus rules money in general, you know, the nickels and dimes and whatnot, but Pluto is more big money, big security. So a great money day for you on the 24th. 25th, just make sure that you don't run out and spend it all, because this is now Mars and Jupiter. And you know how Jupiter likes to do everything big. Mars is wanting to take action. So it's just giving you a little bit of a warning sign that if you're to buy something big, just make sure that it's something you truly want so you don't come to regret it, because sometimes we act on impulse when Mars and Jupiter get together in this sense. And they're scoring off on each other, so it's probably not something that you really need, but it's probably just more something that you want, right? So the moons, let's talk about that. We have that full moon on the 9th, and for you, that is in your 11th house for hopes and dreams, friendships, and so forth. So Aquarius, I could see that this would be a great day to get together with friends, have a potluck, or do something that is really fun, or also you might be receiving what it is you've been dreaming about, right? Because this is where that will be illuminated out of this beautiful, beautiful full moon. The new moon, on the other hand, is going to be in your 6th house, where this is on the 24th, mind you. And we know that both Mars, Sun, and Mercury is here. So definitely time to plant seeds. Now, by the 24th, you've had this whole month to really look at what you've been doing and putting in place as far as diets and workouts and the routine that you're setting up for yourself. And I see that you're liking it because you've already accomplished much of it by this time. So your intention on the 24th is like, okay, now it's looking really great. I want to keep it this way. Let me just keep it this way so I don't have to keep redoing and reorganizing down the road. Let me just keep it nice and straight and clean and so forth. Great intention to have. So listen, Aquarius, this is what I have for you here in June, and I'll see you next month. You can go listen to your moon, your rising sign, get more info on how things are going to be playing out for you this month. So I'll see you there in July. Bye now.